We got 3 scoops of pre-workout. We're throwing it in some softened butter. Evenly lather that across your rack of baby back ribs.
What's up guys, Derek, moreplacemordates.com. Today we're going to be talking about pre-workout on ribs, apparently. I got sent this TikTok by a few people. It is Guy Chef Cuso, Jack Mancuso. I might be saying that wrong. He is the founder of Steak TikTok, apparently. He is also not a chef simultaneously. In here he talks about pre-workout barbecue, and he goes in and basically drenches the fuck out of his ribs with pre-workout powder, proceeds to eat it, and then, you know, like he's creating like a novel recipe here that also gives you a shit ton of energy to go crush it in the gym. So I wanted to kind of react to it, give my stance, and then kind of look at the pre-workout in question.
Barbecued pre-workout covered ribs. Big boys gotta eat, you know how it goes. We got 3 scoops of pre-workout. We're throwing it in some softened butter. Evenly lather that across your rack of baby back ribs. I want my baby back, baby back, baby back. Add some salt on there. Throw it on your smoker. The sweet and salty flavor on these was genuinely good. We got a lift in. I mean, overall, it was a success. A lot of people.
Okay, so how effective is eating a giant fat and protein filled meal going to be right before going to the gym, concurrently with your pre-workout that is stimulant based? That's what we're going to be talking about in a sec, because I don't think a lot of people realize how much of a fucking massive difference having a stim-based pre is on an empty stomach versus a full stomach.
A lot of people aren't going to like this video because it's not traditional, but if you're not one of them, make sure to like and follow for more. Barbecue.
Okay, so I don't know why people wouldn't like the video necessarily, other than the fact that it's probably not the most effective way to use what you're trying to use. So I looked really closely at what I was trying to figure out what the pre was he was using to begin with. I had to watch it a few times. So if you see here, I'll mute it for a sec until he gets to the part where he's actually picking the pre up. So you can see the logo here, and you can just make out the AF. So it's woke AF. At first I thought I was like, okay, oh, I recognize the brand. It's the Bucked Up pre-workout. So I was like, okay, let's go look at their supplement facts panel and kind of give my insight on, like, the main thing is if you're having, like, you know, NO precursors, hydrating agents, etc., that's not going to have the efficacy inhibited by having, you know, a giant meal right before your workout necessarily. However, if it's something that is designed to majorly be working through adrenergic signaling via, you know, stimulants, this is something that's going to be far less effective if you are covering fucking giant slab of ribs with it and then eating it right before your workout. Like, the difference between, try taking any of your pre-workouts when you wake up on a totally fasted stomach, not having ate for 8 hours, versus right after dinner. It'll be like it hits fucking 5 times as hard on a fasted, empty stomach after just waking up. Now, I'm not saying you should go train on an empty stomach when you wake up or anything, but just be aware that the more lag time you have between meals, the harder your stimulants will hit. The less food in your stomach, the harder stimulants hit. That's just how it fucking works. And I'm surprised more people don't realize this. They'll have a giant fucking meal like right before the workout. And I'm like, dude, like, at least give yourself a chance, you know? Have something that's not going to bog down your digestive system while training, as well as give your opportunity to your stim-based pre to actually work if you want to actually get the most out of it. And obviously, if you do want to train fasted or whatever, you know, maybe not the most effective thing, but you'll definitely feel the shit hit the hardest. Like, it's night and day difference between taking stims on an empty versus full stomach. So anyways, getting into the ingredient panel. So this is a $50 pre, and the sub facts are, so a little bit of B12 and sodium, like pretty much irrelevant. Okay, so the actual actives we care about. So citrulline malate 2-to-1. So if you saw my videos breaking down pre-workouts before, you'll know that this 2-to-1 means they have a 2-to-1 ratio of actual L-Citrulline relative to malic acid. So that means they have 4,000 milligrams of active L-Citrulline in the product relative to 2,000 milligrams of malic acid. Is that an efficacious dose? This is like literally the threshold of like minimum efficacious dose in the clinical literature. You're not going to get, like, this is not top end. Top end would be like 10 grams of pure L-citrulline. If you were to look at that in a citrulline malate blend, that would be the equivalent of like fucking 13 to 14 grams at least. So in this is like scraping the bare minimum. Beta-Alanine, 2,000 milligrams, the actual dosage equation you need to get the real performance enhancing effects out of it are only realized, I believe, at 179 grams accumulated in your system. I forget what it is exactly. I did a video on why I hate beta-alanine. And like, to be honest, it does, you know, make some people like it. You know, they like feeling something. They like knowing that their pre-workout's working. They like the fucking itchy goddamn butthole for whatever reason. They like having their foot itchy on the bottom where you can't even scratch it. You're like rubbing your goddamn shoe on like bars and shit at the gym and looking like an idiot. People like that shit, you know? They want to feel fucking cracked out. And it doesn't even really do anything for mental state. It just makes you like feel itchy. And when it's in the wrong spot, it's very unpleasant in the middle of the gym. So anyway, but actually yielding the performance enhancing effects you're trying to get out of beta-alanine, are you going to realize those effects at a 2,000 milligram dose intermittently a few times a week? Because obviously you're not going to take a pre that is stimulant dense 7 days a week. No, you're not. You are not going to get the benefits out of the beta-alanine at this 2-gram dose sporadically, unfortunately. So you're just making an itchy butthole for pretty much no reason. Caffeine anhydrous, 200 milligrams, obviously, you know, not too high, not too low, decent dose. Alpha size, alpha GPC. So this is probably the most bioavailable choline donor, and it is what we have in Gorilla Mind Smooth. Very, very good. I would like to see at minimum 600 milligrams in a full dose of a product for me to consider it high tier. And then obviously the top tier, god tier shit would be a 1,200 milligram product, which is actually why we updated Gorilla Mind Smooth. A lot of people have been asking me, what's the deal? Why did we update the formula? I wanted to max out the alpha GPC, and you only have so much capsule space, so I got rid of some shit that was less useful and made room for shit that is more useful and has more bang for the buck. The 1,200 milligram dose is literally like the Alzheimer's dose. So 200 milligrams, this is not even reaching the minimum dose to effectively increase performance that you see in the clinical studies. So I would like to see this at no less than 600 in a full dose of a product. By full dose, I mean like the full daily, like, I don't know, like max amount. I don't know if this has an instruction that says go up to 2 scoops. If that's the case, you know, this could be reasonable, but then you're looking at a 15 serving pre. And even then, you're only getting 400 milligrams of alpha GPC, so not ideal. 100 milligrams of taurine, basically fucking nothing. This is just here for show, essentially. Like, I have like grams of taurine per day. This is nothing. Himalayan rock salt with trace minerals, 100 milligrams. Basically like your 39 milligrams of sodium. Basically there for what reason? Like, I don't know. Deer antler velvet extract. Is this their like novel ingredient they add to everything because of the logo? I'm not really sure, but this is not something I care to see in a pre. Astragalus, good ingredient. I have it separately though via like an actual astragalus root extract supplement for, you know, kidney support. And a 25 milligram dose is pitiful, to be honest. Now, you know, maybe they're using it for a different reason. You know, some people like to think that astragalus is very good at enhancing bioavailability of certain things. Personally, I think if you're going to use it, just get it via a separate health supplement, get the actual efficacious dose for improving your glomerular filtration rate rather than just using it as, like, it's a good health sub too. Like, I would just rather see this at an efficacious dose for its broad spectrum applications. And then Actogen, Panax. Oh, this is like a, okay, so it's like a ginseng product. Yeah, the dosage on that, nothing really substantial. Like, to me, I'm trying to like I have this in my cortisol product, but this is not really something I would, I like care to see that much in a pre, you know, like even in a nootropic, it's not something like I really care. It's not like heavily leveraging the cholinergic system. It's not something that is going to move the needle in a significant way on pre-workout, in my opinion. So anyways, turns out it wasn't even this fucking product in the video. In fact, it was their heavier duty Woke AF high stim pre-workout. So $54.99 for this one. And I thought I'd break it down. So a little bit more beefy than the previous one. So this is their like red flag, their flagship product, presumably, that is like the ultimate pinnacle of performance. So here it's the exact same, you know, exact same comments for the start. Citrulline malate 2-to-1, exact same comments about it, you know, scraping the bottom of the efficacious dose. Beta-alanine, bit higher. Again, same thing applies though. Are you going to accumulate the efficacious dose over a span of using it, you know, every other day even? Probably not. Caffeine anhydrous, 333 milligrams. So obviously a bit of a bigger hit in this product to kind of, for the stim junkies. Alpha GPC dose is still exactly the same, subpar. The rest of the product looks basically the same. Taurine, basically nothing. Himalayan rock salt, kind of irrelevant. Dendrobium. This is something I have not seen in a while, but it's not a stimulating agent that I really hold a lot of weight in personally. Synephrine, really old school. If you want an actual analog that is going to hit like a motherfucking truck, you would use something like an isopropyl norepinephrine rather than just base synephrine. So personally, I'm not a huge fan of either, to be honest. An isopropyl norepinephrine is very, very adrenergic and racy and makes you feel like fucking too amped almost. Like it's not smooth. It's not a nice euphoric feeling. It's not laser focused. It's just jittery, amped up. So I don't like it. That's why it is, I only have it in alpha-2 AM, which is literally like a fucking adrenaline-ridden product, as the name implies, alpha-2 adrenergic receptor antagonist, blah, blah, blah. The Raoul sign is the base of that product. It is the fat-burning stack, essentially, that is stimulatory as fuck. And the only reason the isopropyl norepinephrine is in that is because it fits the product description, being a racy as fuck product that just makes you fucking tweaking, essentially, but also is optimized for fat-burning potential. Whereas in a pre-workout, not an ideal option in my opinion. A little bit too much jittery fucking, not even nervous excitement or anything. It's just like fucking tweaked. Estrogen, again, Actogen, same fucking thing I said in the last one. To me, this is like a very like, I don't know, like cookie cutter pre, you know? It's like, oh, let's put in what's like the main shit that matters. Like citrulline malate, make sure we have the efficacious dose that is shown in the literature to be, you know, the baseline amount that you need to actually say this is a good amount. Let's put in a baseline amount of beta-alanine that people like. Let's put in a big dose of caffeine. We have our, you know, novel deer antler velvet extract. We have a bit of synephrine for a little bit of an extra oomph, a little bit more jitters. Alpha GPC makes it seem like we're adding in a potent nootropic, even though it's at a subpar dose. And then the rest of it kind of the same shit. So I don't know, personally, I do not see this being, like, to me, this would not be something I would spend my money on personally. And as far as using it like on your ribs, like clearly this product is mostly working through its stimulatory properties. What are you going to feel from here? What is actually driving performance? It's going to be, your pumps are going to be dictated by the citrulline malate, kind of irrelevant if you have it, you know, with a shit ton of food or not, I guess. Beta-alanine, not going to be, you know, significantly, like you're going to feel like an itchy butthole regardless. Like, don't worry about that. Your butthole will indeed be itchy. The caffeine anhydrous is going to hit way harder on an empty stomach, obviously, as well as the synephrine. This kind of stuff is you're going to feel it a lot more, and it's going to seem more potent when you aren't having a giant slab of ribs in your stomach at the same time, especially a slow digesting, you know, like fatty fucking thing. So for me, like, this is a horrible idea. The pre-workout ribs covered in pre-workout. I get it's just for fun. I get that it's, you know, a cool idea. But if people are actually thinking it's like let's do this shit, it's just going to hinder how your pre works. Like, try and keep your meal pre-workout relatively light. Don't have it immediately beforehand. Don't bog your system down so much that you're trying to literally digest a giant fucking fat-filled meal while you're at the gym trying to get a pump in like other muscles. And if it's leveraging mainly stimulants, which it seems to be, which is totally fine, you know, 333 milligrams of caffeine is a good dose. The synephrine, like this shit, you're going to feel way more if you don't have a giant fucking slab of ribs in your system. So for me personally, I think this is a bad idea in general. If you want to get the most bang for your buck out of something like Woke AF, you would have it on as empty of a stomach as possible. You know, obviously that, you know, there's the pros and cons of that in terms of performance, in terms of being fed up enough to actually get good exercise performance in the gym and whatnot. But that is kind of like your individual thing to figure out, you know, where your fine line is. Like for me, I know if I take a pre-workout in the morning on a empty stomach, essentially, it hits like a fucking truck. If I take it later in the day, in the afternoon, I have maybe like 1 or 2 meals in my system. If I wait enough time, it'll still hit pretty hard, but it's not going to be the same as when I was fasted. But again, I prioritize at least having something in my system too, carb-wise, protein-wise, a little bit of fat too. But again, it's just priorities at the end of the day. But the absolute thing you should not be doing is having your pre-workout on your fucking ribs, slamming back a giant goddamn slab of them, and then trying to get the max stimulatory effects out of your pre. That is just not going to happen. So anyways, let me know what you guys think about the pre-workout ribs. Let me go look at the comment section actually and see what everyone else says. So, okay, so let's see the pre-workout barbecue video. See the comment section. Mom reveal. Yo, the most anabolic ribs to ever exist. I am currently 6'4", 230 pounds. I hit 250 3 months ago, so let me be proud of myself in peace for a second. Don't worry, this isn't a fitness page. Yeah, so like again, he's not trying to give advice necessarily. He's trying to just do something that's fun and like, you know, can go viral on TikTok. I understand. 3 scoops, split with my friend, 1.5 scoops each. Lab my ass off. Don't take 3 ever. Yeah, good advice. This is by far the best thing ever made. It tasted amazing. I'm not even kidding. Let's see. That's the best idea I have heard. Debatably a better idea than discovering electricity. Kuso looking kind of cute. Wow, sweating, panting, hyperventilating, heat stroke emoji. That is a new one. He says surprised and clever smile, kind of seductive. So anyways, sounds like, again, this guy's not trying to be a fitness page necessarily. He's just trying to be entertaining, and his meat and potatoes of his page, no pun intended, he fucking cooks food and shit, is cooking food. So wouldn't take it too seriously, but again, I wouldn't do it personally. So anyways, thank you guys for watching. Like, subscribe, check out my blog, moreplacemordates.com. Follow me on Instagram at moreplacemoredates, Facebook, Snapchat, BitChute, Twitter, TikTok, Apple Podcasts. If you want to support the channel, you can check out anything I'm associated with in the video description below. My TRT clinic, it's all telemedicine from the comfort of your own home. Gorilla Mind, nootropic formulas, Gorilla Mode, pre-workout formulas that design myself from scratch with efficacious dosages chosen by myself, maxed out, not just scraping the bare minimum of what just works in the clinical studies. Rather, it is the maximum amount that no more would yield any additional benefit. That's what you can expect from our pre-workout formulas I design myself. And recommended lab tests and diagnostics. Anything else I'm associated with, it's all in the video description below. Thank you guys for watching. Talk to you soon.